I need coffee so bad today, and I'm trying not to drink it. But I need it. Guess I'll just have some candy. Like that's getting better. You missed a shot. Looks like a par 5 for you, buddy. All right, I just changed my mind. I could probably change my mind again. I don't really know. But I was gonna do a Dollar Tree haul, and I'm thinking instead I will just do this sit down chit chat with you guys, kind of talk about just me going home and me doing the video where I talked about like why I went back to Texas, and I was like reading comments and seeing yeah, and I thought I would just kind of like sit down and elaborate a little more on that. I definitely did not have any plans to really talk about anything until I just felt like I was ready. There are a lot of people who I guess like to talk about my business before I'm ready to talk about it, I guess you could say. I don't particularly understand that, but I guess that's neither here nor there. So I thought that it's been a while since I've really kind of like talked about, you know, where I'm at mentally with making this huge move, and so I thought maybe I could just talk about it. I know there are a lot of you out there that I just want to thank. You're very patient and you just wait for me when I'm ready to talk about whatever I'm ready to talk about. You don't act like, I guess it's like owed, and I just really appreciate that. So just thank you for that, by the way. And I've seen comments like that. I've seen where you say like, oh, it's not any of our business, and that's just really appreciated, so thank you. I have shared so much. That doesn't necessarily mean like I have to keep on sharing or anything. I do find myself not saying as much as I would like. And the reason for this is because I just like to hold all of my cards to me, because when you're on the internet, the more you say, the more, I guess, the people that don't like you want to like have all of these conversations, if that makes sense. And I've just wanted to be very limited, I guess, in what I say, if that makes sense. And it's like a double-edged sword sometimes, because I do find myself wanting to share things with all of you, but just so that you can understand like my thought processes, sometimes I just can't for those other reasons, if that makes sense. So most of you, a lot of you know that I've talked about living on the East Coast and living in Florida for a very, very long time. This isn't anything new. This has been something that I've wanted since like my late 20s, even like before I really did anything on YouTube. So I am very happy that I did this. I learned so much, and I learned stuff I didn't even really know I was going to learn. I've done videos where once I announced I was making the move, I talked about just my decision process in this and how I knew that it was going to be hard. I knew I wasn't just going to come into this and be like, look at me, I'm thriving, like I'm great. No, I knew it was going to be hard, because I wasn't leaving home. I wasn't leaving Texas in a bad place. I wasn't like, oh God, gotta get out of here. I love home. I did, however, feel like, in a way, I felt sort of stagnant and stuck in my mind because it was all I had ever known. I had never been an adult without a child. I was 18 having a child, and I dedicated all of Micah's life to remaining in the same place, making sure she went to all the same like feeder schools together, you know, like all those things. I had that experience growing up, and it was very important for me to give that same experience to Micah. Yeah. So I could have moved at any point in time. I didn't want to do that. And then when school came around, it became a matter of just, you know, in-state, out-of-state tuition. So it was like, okay, hang around a little bit longer. And then once that was no longer a factor, that's when like I pulled the trigger, and I pulled the trigger fast. And as a matter of fact, like even though like I knew that I was going to move to Florida, like I knew it was going to be in my future, at the time it actually moved way quicker than like I had thought. And looking back at it now, sometimes my mind still reels at like how fast it actually happened. Because that was really never the plan, like not that soon. And yeah, I had to do this move. I had to do it for me. I had to just see. I had to lay it to rest, because it had been in my head for so long. And Florida and the place that I'm in is like second home. Well, not this city that I'm in specifically, but I'm close to the city that is like a second home to me, essentially. And so yeah, I wasn't moving really like I hated where I was. I just felt like, I don't know, a part of me had to just let go of home and just see if there was something else out there for me. And here's what I discovered. I discovered that I do know that I will eventually be making my way back home. And I know a lot of you are very excited about this. I say that because I see the comments on the daily. Come back to Texas. We want you back in Texas. I will be at some point, that will be the goal. I feel like the experience that I've had living here for 9 months, and I know that's pretty crazy, but there's a lot that goes into this. And again, this isn't like a conversation that I want to dive like into detail right now. So that will come at a later time. But a couple of things happened to me during this process. The town that I live in specifically is simply not for me. I don't know how else to put it. I feel so like dislocated, and it's never felt right, and it's been very hard, very, very hard for me. It is I don't know if this sounds crazy, but it's definitely been like a huge culture shock. For me, it feels like two totally different worlds. And that has been, I think, the hardest part about everything. And I knew that like I was getting into territory like that. I did everything sight unseen, so I knew this going in. This isn't anything that like I'm so surprised, but I kind of because I know the area, not this specifically, but like the general area, this town is just, yeah, I guess I put a lot of faith into my realtor after having this conversation. I had talked about this when we were looking for a house. I was like, only here, only this city, because I had a feeling that like I just, I didn't want to go into a city I didn't know, that I thought it would make things worse. I thought that if I was going to make this move successful, I was going to have to go where I knew. And then I could maybe branch out from there years down the road. And unfortunately, just the type of housing, price range, I didn't want a fixer-upper, and I landed here. And I thought that it was going to be okay, essentially, and after all this time, it's just, I just don't gel with this city. Now, in the meantime, I considered, okay, let me go to the city that I know would make me happy, the one that feels like home. It's a harder market to get into, which is why I'm actually in this house in the first place. Finding what I want without it being too old, without it being a fixer-upper, and the price range, it just was harder. Almost impossible, I guess, for what I was looking for. But in the process, I learned what home meant to me. And that's not to say that I can't pick up and move and go somewhere else in a year. I have that luxury now. Micah's old enough to be doing her own thing. I can do what I want. And I'm so happy that this is the season of my life now. I dedicated my time to raising her, getting her through school. It's kind of like the season for me now. And I miss home. And so part of me going back was because I wanted to validate that, and just wanted to be home. Just wanted to like be there, see how I felt. And I mean, it validated. It actually felt very weird. I don't even know how to explain it. It kind of feels like I'm still living there and I'm just on this like really long vacation. Like, it's the weirdest feeling, and that's probably because Florida has always been a vacation. I know for a lot of people that Florida is a vacation spot, obviously unless you live here. And so it's just kind of felt like that. It's just been a very weird experience that I can't quite place because it's like more of a feeling than a thought. But I'm a Texas girl, and that may be boring to some, or I know a lot of people jet set and do all this, but like Texas has my heart. And then like this feels like deja vu because I feel like I know I've said this before, but I know everyone's wondering like, what am I going to be doing? All of that is really still very much up in the air for me right now. But I felt like I wanted to at least tell you guys kind of what I've been going through, even though I will say like mentally, I have been the best I've ever been, despite like my severe homesickness. Like, it's been bad. And even through that though, like I still wake up happy, and you guys know what I went through when I lost Loxie, and it was like, that was the worst I've ever been in my entire life. Like, there were times where I just like didn't even recognize myself. My body was completely out of control. My stomach, my mind, it was just really bad. And so I've been healing. I've been healed. I feel like this is the best I've ever felt. And and I've loved every minute of like being at the beach and all of that. And I'll always love Florida. Like, I still, you know, will always want to be here, but I think it's probably been pretty obvious to a lot of you, maybe, I don't really know. But yeah, I definitely know that at some point I will be making my way back to Texas. There's so much more I want to say. And again, it's just like that part of me that makes me just nervous and just keeping things close to me. But yeah, overall, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. It's beautiful, you know. It's clearly this space, this house is beautiful. You know, it's kind of like somebody who lives in the heart of New York City and putting them out in like the rural country. You know, it's just, it might not work for a certain type of person. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with New York City, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the rural. It really is about like who you are as a person and what like matches up and aligns with that. And I just haven't felt very aligned. So yeah, I love home. I've learned a lot. I wouldn't have learned what I've learned about what home means to me unless I had done this, because like I said, I was in a spot where I'm just like, this is all I've known. It's very stagnant. I needed to step away. And I never would have, like, I feel like I would have made it here one way or the other, because there was really no stopping me. When I have it in my head for something, like, I'm just the type of person where I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And I'm just so grateful that I did it when I did it. And I know it's all part of like my own personal journey and plan, and I never thought, out of everything that I thought I was going to learn, I never thought I would learn what home means to me, if that makes sense. Like, that just was never something. Like, I knew I was always gonna love home and miss home, but I didn't quite know just what it meant. And yeah, so I'm gonna be diving further into that, but I just wanted to at least give you guys the update. I felt it almost immediately, which was very hard. And, you know, just giving myself more time. Was it part of just the shock? But as more time goes by, like, I just know where I'm meant to end up. So, at some point, I will eventually be back home. So, and when I'm ready to just talk about more, I will. And yeah, I just want to thank everyone who's just so patient and understanding, and you don't ask anything of me. And that really helps me mentally a lot, like more than you know. Because, and I've said this before, but odd that I'm on the internet, but I am very much a private person. But there's still something about so many of you that, like, I want to share. You make me want to share. I wouldn't do anything, you know, that I didn't want to do. But having your support really just helps helps that. It helps my mental space and like just everything. Probably making no sense, but like there it is. So I'm sure this probably makes a lot of sense to a lot of y'all. I've seen a lot of your own stories of you saying you moved and never looked back and it was great. And then I've seen some of you say, nope, moved back. And like, that's the thing, right? It is not one way, not my story, your story, someone else's story isn't wrong. It's just what works out for us, you know? And yeah, so I don't know when I'm gonna have another update, but in the meantime, you know, we're gonna do all the beach things, all the fun things. I'm at least happy I have some great Dollar Trees, so I'll say that. Like, there's some pretty good Dollar Trees here, and I hope this like I really don't know what I hope, but like I hope you guys enjoyed this little chit chat. But yeah, so Texas girl, she's going back at some point. When that will be is still to be determined. So so there's that. And it's been a ride. It's been a wild ride. Thanks for being here with me while I just, you know, figure my life out. And also, before I leave, for those of you that need to get your hands on the Sunshine Kit and the Strawberry Fields Kit, it's coming out Friday. Remember, they are limited. 50 of the Sunshine, 50 of the Strawberry. So, and they are going to be one of my best kits. I feel like my current Love Kit has been one of my best kits, but they're just, I know you guys are going to love it. So Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, they're going to be available. So that's that. I hope you guys liked today's video. If you want to see me share more, you want more of this, let me know. Again, I think you can see like it's a little harder for me, but I definitely still want to like hear from you, hear how you feel, and yeah, so that's that. I'll see you guys tomorrow.